Okay, so let's begin this discussion for Khan. The recording has begun, and this is a discussion between myself and Jing, as I think the role I'm taking on right now is, let's say, an engagement designer. Okay, let's say it's a game designer. Okay, so let's kind of break this apart and see the bigger picture. Okay, all right, for Khan. So this just came to my attention a few days ago. Okay, so I'll share my screen to look at it, and I'll connect your question to the bigger theme. And the reason I go into this is because oftentimes we need to see what the architectural plans are in order to be able to work and do our jobs correctly at the levels that we do them at. Okay, so basically, here's the. You're what? You're bleeding. Eka, can you help Katie K? She's bleeding. Eka. All right. Hey, Eka. Okay. Whoa. Can you help Katie K? She's bleeding. Her feet's bleeding. Eka. I don't know. Her feet are bleeding.
You may proceed first, sir.
What did you do?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Shard.
Oh, glass shard. Okay, okay. Hey, you help her, Mr. Age, okay? Are you okay? Okay, all right. Oh, it's okay. We got Eka. You okay? Okay. We have delegates, and let the delegates do the what they need to do. Okay. So here's the overview for Khan. Let's actually start with a simple question. So we've been working on Project Thea for a while, and we can see the list on Project Thea, right? So there's a pending issue list, and like I said to you on Slack this morning, you've done a really excellent job at capturing many of the engagements and many of the interactions, right? Okay, this is really, really good. The case that I'm trying to sort of bring to you is this, right? The goal is there a way to roll all of this into a T1 engagement that adapts continuously to the partner without the need for a human intervention? Does that make sense?
I understand the concept, not the implementation.
Correct. So I'll give you the concept. The concept is this. So right now what happens is that the partner will either ask for information, okay, or they will react to information emotionally, and then they'll kind of keep on talking to us to sort of deal with the emotional interaction that they have, okay? So on the first engagement, the long-term strategy can be this. Can you forward deploy information to the partner such that you control the pacing in which they are receiving information, okay? Can we forward deploy the information to the partner such that we control the pacing, meaning that we don't expect them to sit there and wait. You don't expect us to sit here and wait for them to engage with us, okay? We expect them to engage according to our pacing, all right? So we create a situation, they engage. We create a situation, they engage. We create a situation, they engage, okay? So if you're able to do that for Khan, now you have narrative control, okay? Now you're guiding the partner through these different stages, and you're not waiting for them to come back, okay? So the idea behind this is like this, okay? It's sort of looking at the Oxman-Krebs cycle again, and we are moving the direction of a community manager from being a utility function to being more of a cultural leader, okay? All right, so how do we implement that? How do we actually implement a leadership by culture that is self-reinforcing a type of behavior back, okay? Now, you might have actually realized we're doing this kind of already with our employees, and a bit that we're applying to housekeepers, and that you have already done casually, I'd say, in shift management, okay? So the idea is, how can you apply art? And in this case, we're going to use a game, okay? So if you think about what a game does, is it moves a large community of users along a narrative that the game creates, and nobody is upset if they have to do something to maintain their position in the game, right? Nobody complains about, oh, why is this way or that way? Okay, people usually will enjoy playing that game. Okay, now the current game is this. The current game that we have is a word game, okay? And it's a very boring game. The game is they write to us on WhatsApp and we respond. And if we respond quickly, then they're happy, okay? Or we respond with something that's, to their satisfaction, then they're happy, okay? So that's the current game. But that is a very tiresome game for us to play because we need to constantly, respond to whatever is in their head, is in their narrative, okay? So the questions start becoming: can we control narrative? Can we control what they value in the game? Okay, and the answer is yes. The answer is it is possible, and it's done every day. This is the core philosophy in which how advanced popular apps are built. Okay, now so that's what we're doing now. So instead of like, okay, in the future, we don't answer questions, we create scenarios for our users so that they respond to those scenarios, okay? Because they are learning everything that they need to understand about being an owner through being given scenario after scenario after scenario, okay? Now, here's the kind of focal point now, okay? So when you're playing a game, like let's say you play pick any game that you can think of. Mario. Okay, super, perfect. Okay, so let's talk about Super Mario. Okay, I'm having a discussion with Furcon, but am I able to help you really quickly?
No, it's more into finance, a bit cultural discussions because I would like to repeat what our question as well.
Okay.
Just quick one. Highlight is we probably having risk or trap, but not able to setting up or achieve stable growth for year on year. So
I saw that. Yeah, we're declining a bit in December, right?
Correct. So
yeah.
I also calculate the remaining potential with with any price that we set for now.
Right.
I think the progress on the daily sales and booking pace now still getting peak on the second day.
Yeah.
So my decision is to more into hold the price instead of keep lowering.
Okay.
We still
go for it.
Get our demand reactions.
Okay.
However, we will do the adjustment only for low performance properties. And for the team, it's actually related to the bonus, right?
Right.
So it's already like the third month, twice in a row with last month, we experienced negative growth.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to propose for the decisions. It's affecting agriculture, so it's perfect. The point is here. The scam would be if we experience negative growth, but we still have 91% to the achievement.
Mm-hmm.
The team still can receive the bonus with a cap that will be held until January. If January we experience positive growth, we will release by then.
Announce it as soon as possible so that it's widely understood. Okay. You're doing the right thing. Okay. Yeah, makes sense. So perfect, Furcon. You see the game dynamics here. So you need to keep the motivation of the group, and they need to step up. Okay. But clearly, there's probably some job design that needs to be done better too, as well. Okay, there are some nodes on the job graph that are suboptimal, and there are some people that I think it's supervision culture, and it might be even the belief culture, right? I'm not sure what it was. It's probably different teams, different mechanism to lead them, but okay, as long as it's done quickly so that everyone has a chance to think about what to do, then that's fair. Okay. All right, go for it. Implement it.
That's the update, so we can keep the momentum from the team as
well.
Right?
Go for it. I'm not stopping you. Okay. Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Bella.
Okay. Thank you.
Perfect. Okay, so that's it. That's kind of like the idea. Let's go to Super Mario then, right? And take a look at a game that has the correct structure. Okay. So I think somebody actually demonstrated this. It's awesome. So there's a video on YouTube that is. No, that's not it. There's a Super Mario design. Let's see, where is the actual design and why it's clever? Okay, design, cleverness. Da, 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 da. Oh, here's it. Okay, so that's a quick sample of what's involved in a game design. Okay, but the particular okay,
I never thought it would be like so well thought about the design. It's just so simple. Yeah.
it is simple is hard for con. Simple is hard. So simple generally means that the person, if you watch the rest of that video, they'll go over the difference. Okay, so okay, now you can kind of think in terms of a designer, in terms of a world creator. Okay, the mission is to how can you create a world that motivates the person to continuously move ahead, right? Now, so you have a decision, okay? Yes, you can create a huge amount of goal, okay? And that's great at a certain time, okay? Is it the right time at the very beginning? That's a good question, okay? It might seem overwhelming in the beginning. It might seem like, wow, I have this huge contract value to try to reach, and it's my first month, and it looks like nothing's moving, right? And then, of course, you're going to feel disappointed, okay? You're going to feel sad because it doesn't feel like you're making any progress. But remember, and you know this through your own experience, and this is where it's not just employee experience, it's a human experience, okay? You know this through your own experience. It's the hardest is getting started in the very beginning, right? And so that's where you need kind of like your first reward. You need your first bingo, you got started, first booking, right? Bingo, you got on your way, first 10 million rupiah. Bingo, so these are the mechanisms where people feel progress, they feel confidence, they feel like this is doable, okay? Because if you illustrate the entire timeline and the entire contract value, then it feels, ooh, shit, that I've done this for months and I haven't even moved it very much, right? And that's true. You haven't moved it very much because you are seeing it in that space. So adaptive, let's say, goals create the sense of continuous progression, right? Even if sometimes it isn't actually that way, okay? But you're kind of like doing this, man. Like a Mario Brothers game. You're getting points up and you're losing points. You're losing lives and you're losing opportunities, and all these are up levels, down levels, okay? The reason the game feels engaging is because of sunk cost fallacy, okay? Whatever somebody's built in right now, they're going to feel, oh, all that progress is lost if I withdraw, okay? So the name of our game is actually quite simple. If done correctly for God, the main thing everybody will just be worried about is I want to extend that contract because I want to see more value in the future. And it's the same game like I spoke to you the other day on Slack about employee retention, right? As long as there's more shares being issued, as long as there's possibility that this massive profit that we capture every year can be reallocated to, let's say, newer and newer people, right? People want to stay because that's exciting. That's where the gameplay is built in, right? And to withdraw means now, damn, I just planted all these seeds and I don't get to stick around to harvest them. That's no fun, right? That's kind of like a loss. So that is the mechanism that you can think about how to design and move large groups of people, okay? Now, I mean, some people call it manipulation. Some people give it dirty names like that. But for me, I think it's just power, right? It's a way of organizing a system such that the players in the system are self-motivated, okay, to move in a particular direction. And clearly, games are cross-cultural, they're cross-religion. Seems like everybody doesn't mind a good game, okay, and transcend all belief systems, okay. So basically, it's the most scalable way to increase the amount of users and partners that we can have while having them have a condition where they're not battling us, they're battling themselves, right? They're kind of like it's their own progression towards this goal of achieving greater and greater contract value. So if you think about, okay, let's put ourselves in the very beginning of the gameplay, okay? In the very beginning, you want small goals, okay? Like Super Mario Brothers. The first is you get a power up and you become a big Mario, right? You can knock this around and you have certain powers. You're already experiencing like growth. You're experiencing affirmation that you've chosen the right manager, okay? So you want to kind of shrink that zoom level down. But remember, over time, okay, those small goals will never satisfy people anymore, right? It's like they totally forgot. Oh yeah, I just made 10 million last month. Oh, and now I'm arguing over like why are you changing the price for whatever it is? Okay, it's kind of insane. Okay, so then what you do is you show how much is in the future, or you show now how much there's left to attain. So now that creates a different zoom lens, right? Now that you've gotten more skill, you've got more whatever, you level up. Okay, and when you level up, you see bigger goals, you see bigger opportunities out there, you see a bigger room to fill with treasure. So that then starts feeling like progression, right? And that attainment of a sense of mastery, of a sense of being able to do something about all these experiences, even though these are mostly just spiritual experiences people are experiencing with capitalism, is ultimately how yeah, it's how you teach people, right? It's like you can learn a lot more about capitalism by playing Monopoly than you can by probably going to economics class, right? You'll learn about how to buy property, how you don't have to pay tax if you're on somebody else's property. All these different mechanisms are clear, okay? So that's the idea. And the contract value progression is a really important part, right? Because that's like your game dashboard at the very top. Okay, so your game dashboard lets you know how many lives you have left. You know what's your overall point score, and how close are you reaching to the final goal. Okay, so what you're seeing is essentially the whole principle of you've experienced this yourself probably, right? If you start all of a sudden one day at a company and you're given, hey, look, you're going to make this much money. You know, at the end of 5 years or at the end of 10 years, you might be like, oh, that's overwhelming. That's I don't even know how I'm going to get that much, right? But if you kind of just take it one bit at a time, you're like, okay, you reach your first goal, you reach your next goal, and then the dimensions, the levels reveal themselves as you attain higher and higher skills. You see, it's a much more rewarding experience, right? So think of it as this, sir. Think of it as in the first level, perhaps with the first ranking, they see a smaller goal. Okay, it could just be a weekly goal. But if they reach higher and higher rankings, maybe the goal starts looking bigger. Okay, because now they, now they can see, oh, there's something more attainable out there. Okay. Anyway, for your particular case, this might be overkill. Okay, this might be more than what you need to consider because it is kind of a large decision. Okay, because it's a policy that will affect all users and how all users see things. Okay, but here's what I want you to do. I want you to think about how to master this capability of framing goals for different people. Okay, certain people, to give them a huge goal is just a waste of time. Right? Now you can still see, like let's say with our most recent case, let's say August Witte. Okay, to expect August Witte to be able to take each part of his work to attain a higher level marketing goal, this is overwhelming, right? His goal should probably just be in how many numbers of photography things can you get done, right? And how many streaks can you keep up, right? What's your work pace endurance, okay? But for somebody who's mastered photography, for somebody who's an artist, somebody's like, yeah, they can work all night if they need to get something done, right? That's not interesting anymore. That's not challenging. So their goals have to grow with the size of their progression. So my recommendation is that you keep this in your mind, because at some point you'll probably be the game master in this particular scenario. You'll understand what behaviors that you are witnessing right now, and you'll understand what mechanisms that you can employ to guide those behaviors towards something that's a bit more relaxing for yourself, but yet engaging and fulfills this kind of need for whatever it is that people are seeking, right? The actual user themselves. Okay, so that's the idea. That's the principle. All right. So anyway, the practical part is make just a decision on, I'd say this, right? To change the engineering scope and reduce it, it's a lot today. Okay, it's probably going to be all this stuff, and that also interrupts my thing for Thea. The easier thing to do today is probably just to say, hey, look, we are going to just call this a different thing for a different range. Okay, this could be like the annual amortized contract value. Okay, that could be just a broken down. We leave contract value, let's say, to represent the entire contract, and then the annual part of the contract value could just be, what they aim for the year. All right, and you can just change that. That would be a very simple change. That just changes the label. Okay, and then you have continuity. All right. I would advise just using that at the moment, because to do it the other way, to do an adaptive progressive change, it requires a bit of project management. You got to tell the engineering, okay, I want you to do like this at this stage, and then grow the frame a little bit larger when they rank up, and then grow the frame a bit larger when they grow up, and that can delay, let's say, the responsiveness, and also if it gets buggy, then you lose this point. Okay, it will get buggy, of course, because all shit runs with bugs. So at this point, your solution is probably just to say, look, we'll probably make some adjustments on this, but you do bring up a good point. You do need to fix our vocabulary, like I said this morning. Okay, vocabulary that we mean for contract value needs to be specific. Is it the overall contract in 3 years, or is it the annual portion of the contract value? Okay, once you've agreed on that, then I think you can serve it up and leave this framing thing later for a different discussion, because you do need a solution now. Okay, this lady won't sit there and wait all day for us to design something that works, and that could take weeks, if not months. Okay, but you should understand in terms of this is how vision is built for con. Okay, vision is built by seeing this problem and going, oh wait, there's some adjacent knowledge over in game design that kind of it's kind of like the same thing. If I'm playing a video game and I haven't built up my skills yet, they drop me in level 15, I'm not going to enjoy playing this game because it's just way too hard, right? And it's too challenging. But if the game never gets harder, right, as we're progressing, then this is boring, and I'm not feeling fulfilled, right, either. So that becomes kind of like a different mechanism. Okay, so what I'm telling you is eventually this, okay? Eventually, we're probably all going to be game designers in a way. You're going to be setting incentives for what the experience that the player will experience will be, okay? And thinking about, but the main benefit is that you can lead a lot more people that way. You don't have to take phone calls one at a time. Okay, so let me give you a demo, and I think this might be able to give you actual clarity on a particular idea, right? So imagine this, okay? Imagine this. Imagine in the future, somebody WhatsApps. What they have is like this, right? You send a thing that says, please check your WhatsApp right now. Please check your BV Go, and there's an emergency that requires you to take some action, right? So they open their BV Go and they see a card, right? Like bad review, ranking drop, okay? And then they open up and the newsletter pops out and there's a choice on it, okay? There's a choice that says, do this or this in order to take care of ranking, right? It could be as simple as allocate more budget for guest experience, okay? And that's it, right? Allocate a budget of this much to support guest experiences so that this is not have to be an issue, okay? It can just be simple as that, and that way that budget is now held in reserve, and we have a budget from the owner that they approved to deal with bad reviews in the future, right? So the decision card could actually just show like this, right? You got a bad review, and this might have long-term contract value equivalent of this. We recommend that you set aside a allocation of 1.5 million rupiahs so that we can take faster action to correct a difficult guest in the future, right? And this is a smart investment because it saves 5 million off your long-term contract for a 1.5 million here, okay? So something like that, right? That card shows up, and guess what? They are committing now, right? And we have asked them now to invest more in the relationship with us. So every negative review, we can build more credit to solve guest problems because they're investing more, okay? And that's great, right? You see, you're giving people now, instead of they're complaining about this and complaining about that, we say this is the budget, okay? And when the budget reaches a threshold, we'll say we're going to activate an upgrade to your property. Congratulations, right? And this is strategically timed during low season such that everything will be ready. We're blocking these dates, approve, right? And you see, it's like a game now, right? Everything now becomes okay, you got hit, put some cash aside, allocate this, and we will be okay with that. So everything then just becomes like a card-based game, okay? And we set the narrative. We say, hey, look, you need to make a decision now. Hey, look, you need to make a decision now. So you bring all these decisions to the owner, and so they don't need to react to us. We don't need to react to them. They're going to always react to us. Right. So imagine, let's say you managed me that way, okay? I would have a great time. You say, hey, Jing, guess what? There's an opportunity today, but it might require us to spend a bit more money on incentivizing people. Should we go for it? I was like, what's the opportunity? Well, we can get Desmond to do this, whatever, and I think this is probably going to add 30 million over shareholder value. I think we should spend like 1 million or whatever extra to incentivize me and this person to do it. We go, yeah, okay, all right, sure. That might be an ad hoc decision to get that one done, right? But it's all about essentially thinking about each opportunity as a means of engaging, okay? The owner pays. That's it. That's their only job, right? Their job is to pay. Our job is to take the money that they pay and use it to make them more money, okay? So basically that would be the vision of the future design. So we give them opportunities to enhance guest experience, to enhance their ranking, to do all these things, and they just make decisions, yes or no, right? And if they say no all the time, then eventually, surprise, low prices, surprise, falling ranking, right? You see? And it's because you have denied all these past requests, we are now forced to lower prices because you are uncompetitive. You see? So that's where I think the proactive part can go, okay? And then they can see their now when the contract value falls, you attribute it to their lack of proactive in making decisions, right? And guess what? If they want to say, I trust Book of Vista, just handle it for me. We just put them up a card, and then we just don't do anything. We just send them a report now, right? And then even simpler. But I think most owners will want to engage and make decisions in the very beginning. And you're just making it fun now for them to make those decisions, okay? Okay, do you see this? It's kind of different than before. Okay, but how do they, the part that you're asking about is the dashboard, right? It's the part where they see their progress. So they need to feel like their decisions are making consequence, right? So zoom in, if that case is zoom in. Okay, but for today, I would say just simplify by keeping the language the same. You make a decision on what you want the actual box to show, right? I think it should show the 1 year part. So if it's the overall contract value, I don't think that contract value was right. I think it was probably, that was the yearly value, not the overall contract value, right? Yes. Yeah, that would be ridiculous. It would be like 100 million. Why would we do that, right? So in that case, it's probably the yearly value is what we mean. So then we need to probably say it's the difference between annual contract and full contract value, right? So that way there's two different words to describe each case. Okay, I know I overkilled it there for Con, but this is the process of how you're tying a vision for how to do this job way more strategically, right? Strategy means you can just do it with less effort. That basically means you can gain success using the minimal amount of effort, you can win. People who are strategic can beat large armies with small armies, right? So that's the hallmark of a great strategist. They're able to see these opportunities. Okay, so part of it is, yeah, if the app can serve you, right? If the app can have an ecosystem that serves you, then that's all you do. You just write new games. You write new behaviors into the app, or you just say, I know psychology now, and you know that becomes it. Okay, and you move on to the next thing. Like me, I realize I've done every job here, and that's why I'm doing this job now. It's like every time I finish the next job, somebody else does it, and then you know I move on to the next role. But all future roles, like I keep on saying, are going to be in the business of inventing new jobs. So, and it may be as simple as you just draw it on a diagram, you plug it in, and say, now become that thing for us, right? And you introduce that module into our current system, and it just becomes, right? So then that's so easy, right? It's just like, okay, I need a whatever, right? I need a full-time graphic artist that is adapted to, you know, whatever design. So you just imagine it, you conceptualize it, you write it on Miro, and Miro turns it into Cursor, and Cursor gives you the code. And then it's just like, wow, that's absurd, right? That's absurd how that just kind of got plugged in that way. So yeah, okay. So that's how I would see it. See it through the lens of a game. And here's what I'm going to do. Okay. Afterwards, I'll take this part, I'll upload it into the notebook, and you can ask more questions to follow up, right? To kind of really gain a better understanding of what we talked about. Because I know generally people don't really learn through lecture. People learn through, you know, simulation. Yeah. So you have to kind of also experience it yourself somehow. The concept makes sense, right? It's basically about level creations, okay? And you can't have ultimately a level that's too huge until the player is ready to be in a too huge level, and then it works, okay? Okay, that's pretty much my 2 cents on that one. Okay.
Is it will be uploaded in Vista Leadership and Management notebook?
Okay, let's figure out where it goes. Here, I'll tell you where to find it. Okay, I'll tell you where you should look for it. I've organized information according to YouTube. Okay, probably have to coordinate the labels on it. So it's in one of the playlists. Which playlist do you think it belongs to?
LPT Vision.
It's in probably LPT Design and Culture, right? Because this is a design question. Take a look. Yeah, culture and design.
Yeah.
Probably culture and design, and maybe also design and culture, community management. Yeah.
I see.
LPTKM, okay. Design and culture, community management. So yes. It falls under that category, and that's where we can pick it up again. Okay. So anyway, hopefully that's exciting. Okay, and hopefully the work we do in the future will be. We're actually really, really well hooked up right now. We're pretty unique. I don't know how long we'll have our advantage at the moment, but we are very, very well hooked up. So we have a culture that's AI native, mostly, right? We punch way above our weight. We're in a good position to be able to continue to lead. So we're probably already the most advanced AI-ready company in Indonesia, right? And I think it's going to compound quite a lot each year. I think the people who are AI ready, we're probably going to do 2 times better than the ones that are not, and then 4 times better in another year, and then 8 times better. So it's going to kind of just rise exponentially. So yeah. Anyways, that's just something I'm saying right now. So yeah, we're pretty ahead. Most of the paradigms that we see are cutting edge. They're pretty much at the very beginning, you know. Oh, did I show you Alice?
No.
Oh, let me show you Alice. Look at
Atlas or Alice?
Alice. Let me show you Alice. Alice is hilarious, right? Alice Brick YC. Right here, Brickwise. Here is Alice. Your 24/7 AI property manager. Handles tenant calls, maintenance requests, property agent. Here she is. Always available. 90% query less than 3% response time. How she works instant diagnostics, blah 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 blah, blah, the whole thing, right? So basically, Gaia just got so YC, as you probably should know, is one of the leading incubators in the world, right? So one of their teams just invented this last week, but we've known about it for like 2 years, right? So that's kind of like it. That's how YC is usually at the leading edge of the industry, right? They're like doing venture, they're doing kind of like the cutting edge, like innovation work. And then we're 2 years ahead of YC. So ta-da! Okay, so we're kind of like really on the pathway here. So good news and bad news. Good news is probably we're gonna stretch way ahead of all the incumbent property management companies. Bad news is if I don't know, like all I don't know, all future owners are probably going to employ this, right? And they might not ask for 20%, right? But they don't do the pricing management and also the other parts too as well. But you see, we're already ahead, right? We're already ahead. We already thought about like, this is a diminishing horizon, so we're already got like a head start on that. But anyway, yeah, that's that. Ultimately, if you really understand incentives, you can motivate lots of people, like millions of people, to kind of move together, okay? Because games basically have no limit to the number of players. But, okay, so I guess that concludes also, finally, so leading up to the final vision, and that's how we solve the Dunbar number problem, right? Because that's the leading cause of us seeing so much. All right, hopefully that makes sense. All right. Catch you later.
Thank you very much, sir.
All right, welcome.
See you.
See ya.